Hi there, welcome to Lamlam's audiobook novel channel. Today's story is titled, The CEO's Maid. Chapter 12. The Weight of Secrets. The estate was quiet that evening. Too quiet. Inside his private study, Damien sat behind his mahogany desk, the room dimly lit by a single desk lamp. In his hand was a photograph, old, worn at the edges. It had once been retrieved from a street surveillance camera the night he was rescued. The image was blurred, but the outline of a girl was barely visible. Her soaked dress, her frantic expression. And now, every time he looked at it, all he saw was Emily. He clenched his jaw, frustration simmering beneath his composed exterior. He had tried to convince himself it couldn't be her. But the pendant, voice, eyes, they all pointed to one truth. She was the girl who saved him. And she lied. He opened a drawer and pulled out a thin, leather-bound journal. It had been his only companion during recovery. Pages scribbled with frustration, anger, and gratitude for a girl who disappeared without a word. He flipped to a dated entry. She pulled me from the water. Not just my body, my soul. But she left like a shadow. I never even asked her name. And now, all I can do is remember the way her hands trembled, and the sadness in her eyes. He shut the journal with a snap. So why had Emily returned? Why hide her identity? Was she after something? Or was she hiding from something? In the laundry room, Emily folded clothes in silence. The scent of damp linen mixed with the faint aroma of river lilies from the nearby garden. A sudden gust of wind swept through the open window, carrying with it a familiar sound, lapping water from the ornamental pond nearby. He paused. The memory hit hard. A flash of her hometown. Wooden canoes on still water, smoke curling from cooking fires. Her mother calling her name sharply as she helped rub balm on her father's chest. The day after she rescued Damien had been the beginning of the end in that town. People had whispered. She ran off with a rich man. Her father is dying and she's out gallivanting with city people. Shameless girl. Emily had tried to explain. But no one believed her. Even her mother, worn and weary, had asked, "Why did you go back to the river that night? Alone?" She had fled before sunrise the next day, with nothing but her mother's old pendant and a fading photo of her father tucked into her blouse. She swore never to return until she could carry home hope, wrapped in dignity, not shame. And now she was here, a maid in the very house of the man she saved, wearing the same pendant, hiding the same secret. Damien stepped into the hallway just as Emily exited the laundry room. They almost collided. His eyes bore into hers, unblinking. "Emily," he said quietly. Her breath caught in her throat. "Sir." He looked like he wanted to say more. "Ask more." Instead he said, "Why this job? You could have picked anything in the city." She hesitated. "I needed to fix something," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Something I ran from." His jaw tightened. That was not the answer he expected, but it was honest. At least partly. He stared at her for another second, then stepped aside. "Carry on," he said stiffly. She nodded and walked away, but the weight of his gaze clung to her like mist. Across the city, in a sleek apartment suite lined with mirrors and perfume bottles, Vanessa poured herself a glass of wine and handed a manila envelope to a tall man in a leather jacket. "Her name is Emily Carter. Small town. Fishing village. Everyone there knows everyone." The man flipped through the papers, a smirk spreading across his face. "You want dirt. I want a flood," Vanessa replied. "Family, childhood, rumors, everything. And when you're done, leak it anonymously. Make it loud." The man nodded. "You're sure she's a threat?" Vanessa's smile was sharp. "She's already in his house. If she's who I think she is, she's not just a threat. She's the reason all my plans crumbled." The man picked up his coat. "Consider it done." As he left, Vanessa downed her wine in one gulp. Let's see how long the maid survives in a world built for wolves. That night, Emily walked past the study on her way to bed. Pause. The door was slightly open. Inside, Damien sat at his desk, a small velvet box in his hand. He opened it, and inside, nestled against dark satin, was a familiar silver pendant. Her mother's exact pendant. He stared at it for a long moment before snapping it shut and tucking it back into the drawer. Emily blinked, her heart racing. Did he recognize it? She took a quiet step back. Neither of them said a word. But for the first time in weeks, they were both haunted by the same night, and a truth neither was ready to face. The shadows of the past have begun to stir, and Emily doesn't yet know that Vanessa has pulled the first thread in the unraveling of everything she's tried to hide. Thanks for listening to Lamlam Audiobooks. If you enjoyed this chapter, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more episodes. New chapters drop every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday at 9 a.m. Stay tuned, because in this story, nothing is ever what it seems. Until next time, keep listening.